Alright, hello, it's Sloth here, and today we are going for a very cool deck that you will love. I loved it more than I thought I will, and we are in a dragon control for Dimir area, which is something that's not what you expect to hear, at least I didn't. And this deck is much better than you would think. I actually made it like a brewing thing, and when I started playing it, it was like, holy hell, the synergies are there, and it all is working together really nicely. And I've been winning a lot with it, so like you will see some games, but I've played this deck even last year, and I really won most of my games with this deck. That's really powerful, more than you would think. So let's go into the details why this deck is so good. Because of Discover the Formula, together with Absorb Energy. So those are the only two cards, six cards and two different card types, but they make Imref and Ebon Death, that they are like the main things for this deck because it's a dragon control, and they really are the main bulk of the power of this deck. And believe me, 5 mana Imref and 4 mana Imref is a huge difference. Like, it's mind blowing how different it plays out. Especially that it's not obvious from the first glance, but if you absorb energy, and by the way, for the strategy of this deck, you generally want to have Imref when you use this card, and you generally want to counter the creatures, because the big reason this card is here is the discounts on those dragons. And that's exactly like the main idea that you want to make if you have the chance, of course. Sometimes you are just forced to counter anything. But if MRF is 4 mana, and believe me, it's very often 3 mana during the game, but even if it's 4 mana, if you started the game, so you play first, you play Imref for 4 mana, and it has worth 4. It means that enemy plays his 4th land, and if he didn't have a ramp, he cannot afford the ward. Even if he has 1 mana spell that removes this dragon, he cannot pay for the ward cost. So in a way, it's in like hexproof for the turn. And one very sweet combo is with the Fading Hope and Into the Roil. We also have Divide by Zero. It's a bit worse because it doesn't really hit Imref with the Learn. So usually you don't use it on Imref. So those are the two that you want to use on him. And if the enemy plays any removal, and believe me, they will, when you get this targeted, they need to pay 4 mana on top of the spell. And most of the removal is like 2 mana. So total 6 mana to try to remove it. And you just pay 1 with the Fading Hope, bounce it, and suddenly enemy is completely tap out, and this acts as a hard counter spell. Because if you didn't have Fading Hope, you would counter it just to save the Imref. And if you get out of the gas without cards, you just attack with Imref and redraw. So Fading Hope and Into the Roil have amazing synergy with this dragon, and this is where the discount part comes. Because when you bounce it, you play it again, but the cost reduction is there forever. So if you discounted it to 3 mana, you can play this and this for 4 mana together, and the enemy needs to pay like 6. So not only you get pretty much, let's say, like a bit of card advantage because you trade your early game like bounce into like his hard removal, you also gain tempo, and it actually will matter, and you will see in the games that we really work our way through like early game when we are the hard control deck into like a tempo that the enemy cannot keep up with us. And the same is for the Ebon Death. It just works differently because for everyone who doesn't use this card, it is a 4 mana dragon that's 5/2. It has flash flying and enters the battlefield tap, so you cannot defend it the same turn, but that's fine. And you can cast it from the graveyard if anything except this dragon died, or a named Ebon Death, but people don't play it. So any other creature that died this turn lets you cast it again. And this is very good like value grinder because it gets removed, then you play it sooner or later again, and it needs to bait another remover and another until an enemy cannot answer it. And it trades really well with every creature because it has 5 attacks. So yeah, you cannot trade the same turn, but next turn, like yeah, it's free real estate, as you could say. And at the same time, when this kills something, it means the other creature went into the graveyard and you can recast it instantly, which a lot of people I think aren't used to, let's say. So that's one of the part, but with this deck you can use absorb energy on this and discover the formula, and suddenly for the full duration of game this dragon can cost 2 mana, and his biggest downside is that you need to invest 4 mana in an instant speed when the conditions are met, so you might not want to play 4 mana drop then, and you are forced because next turn nothing dies, so you cannot. And suddenly if it costs 2 mana, that's so easy to cast every single turn on top of your plays, and this is very hard to keep up. So that's the like main idea behind the deck, and you can benefit from the cost reduction multiple times during every game, and this ward is a huge deal, and it really makes enemy like not able to deal with the Imrev. Even if he kills one finally after, let's say, 3 turns of getting tap out, you usually have another one in the hand, or the Ibon Death that you just cast, and he cannot keep up with everything. Like we are in a control value like area. So what more? Of course we have removal, because we need removal for early game before we cast our main spells. We have one check for traps. I found it very useful to be able to check the enemy hand in the long game just once, or at least like play around his plan a bit. So that's something that could be trimmed probably, but I really liked it, and usually it's like a removal or counter spell, so pretty good. Mid-hook Massacre for some life gain as well, and as a sweeper, pretty much. Mostly like a sweeper, let's be honest. We have Juari because that's actually this is very good synergy as well, because when they tap out completely, that's like, let's be honest, if you tap out 4 mana on top of the cost of your spells, you really don't want to play again like around another 1 mana, because at some point you cannot have 7 mana to cast a 2-drop like spell removal. So they usually tap out heavily, and suddenly Juari Disruption is very serious counter spell, because at some point they will tap out completely, most of the time. So this is also a very tricky card, and you can stack even 2, like late game paying 2 Juaris for a counter spell is very good deal. Divide by 0 standard, nothing to say about it. And first for Discover, that's this card that I used to like refill, except the Discover for formula, and we have a lot of draw, so maybe that's something we could be trimming, but at the same time I found that this really helps your, like, let's say, early mid game to just get gas and answers before you can cast your heavy artillery. So I was really happy with this card, and you usually are able to hit the basic runs. Of course for this reason we have only 4 non-basics, and there's argument except Hall, so 5. And there's an argument to maybe remove them and go for the basic. Also with the Tyrant, the 4 mana dragon that can now, after the nerf, target non-basics only. So maybe that's something to think about. I was playing like this and I was happy, but there were games that I was thinking maybe this would be better as an island. Anyway, we have Memory Deluge as a hard refill in case we get shut down somehow, or we just don't draw into our Discover the Formula Imrev. And this is a bit gas, but it's not like late game gas. It's just 3 cards and you need to discard either 1 or 2. And you often need lands, so sometimes you prefer to discard 2 cards instead of your only land. So I found Memory Deluge good just for the long grinding games. To provide protection. You need a lot of cards to support those dragons, because they get better the more counter spells and bounces you have. And in this deck pretty much every bounce is a counter spell late game if you play it right. So really tried this deck. I was extremely happy with the results and how fun it is played, and that's a very skillful deck. I'm not afraid to say it like this, because you really need to think, do I need to bounce this 2 mana drop from the enemy, or maybe it's better to go for the long game and save my dragon late game, which can provide a ton of value, especially that if you save this, this just draws you more cards. So I think this is a serious contender, and that's more competitive than I would say. So play with it. I really enjoyed it, and I've been playing with this deck for a long time, and I really have a blast with it. Especially if you like dragons, or you maybe bought this art and you want to use Imref, which was original reason for this deck that I've made it. So yeah, go with it, and I almost guarantee you will be happy. Especially if you like Dimir, Control, Dragons, this is the deck for you, and go for it, champ. So thank you for sticking for this pretty long intro. I like the deck a bit too much, and you can probably tell it. So really thank you for watching, enjoy the games, and if you like decks like this, just subscribe and I will try to make more of them. So thank you, and enjoy the videos. We are going first, and this is the good part. However, our hand with 5-drop and 6-drop isn't the best one, but we'll go for it. Mostly because we can use Saw It Coming, so we generally don't want Fading Hope. We want Saw It Coming in case we don't draw a land, we have a counter. Never mind. Always lucky. So, Saw It Coming or Fading Hope Guard? That's the question. It's red and black. So I expect a creature on turn 2. And I'm not sure, like I don't see it being extremely annoying, so we will fit Fading Hope. Like worst case we can even go for third land and then counter something and Fading Hope. Yeah, like we wouldn't really bounce this one. So that was a correct decision, I would say. We have MRF, so we could absorb energy and then play possibly MRF on curve. We can bounce whatever comes, and we can also absorb energy from whatever comes, so I think we are good. Like, this only has effect if something comes into the battlefield, which it won't, and he needs to, yeah, like, just got shreked then. That was perfect in every way for us. So they lost treasure, and the only non-perfect thing is the fact that we whiffed on land, and it would be so huge to play MRF on curve because it would be unkillable. Oh man, I'm really sad inside. I was so happy to make this play. This is something that can occur, and oh look at you. Okay, if it was 4 or less learn. Sure, I would love to learn. I'm a learner. I'm somewhat of a learner myself. So even if they play, if they play a land, no, they played a land. So it's 5 cards. And we can go below, but then we cannot counter, and we need to counter. So I think we are just going for the sure thing. We need to prepare that we don't hit land. Okay, and if we played Imref and he played Tyrant, well, that wouldn't be extremely good for us, to be honest. Oh man, the things we need to do to hit our land from, I believe, 26 land deck. Imagine this. Anyway, we countered the Tyrant, that's for sure. Hopefully they replay it. But later we are out of counterspells. I think we started the game, so he can untap. He would probably prefer Scry? No? Okay. 1 mana. Oh, this guy. So this is a very good target to Fading Hope, to be honest. I think we, like, with Discover the Formula, we have infinite value, and with this, so I think we are entirely going for the tempo. No, my friend. No, no, no. You don't get treasure because of the nerf shield. Yeah, much worse now, ain't it? Okay. And oh no, it's still one land too little. Because we need to counter something next turn, I think. So what do we do? First for Discovery and saw it coming, I think. Yeah, whatever he plays. We could... no, we cannot go both. Like, this land's shortage is hurting us so extremely much. At least we hit this turn a land as well. Like, Fading Hope gave... it's pretty much a 1 mana time walk. Like, entirely. That's all he did for this turn. So I think the correct play, also to make enemy super salty, is to pretend we drew into counterspell. I'm a me, and we do need cards, so let's go like this. We could into the Royal and see how long till he gets bored of playing. Yeah, it's actually much better target, because this bouncing this is crazy bad idea. So the draw actually made a difference. We changed our play. So 2 mana time walk. We already time walked twice with 2 of our 1 draw. Okay. Okay, and now we need to think. Never mind. Thinking is for the weak minds. We just play our dragons and smorg them. So right now the enemy is in a very bad spot, because if he plays something and it gets countered or bounced, then he cannot deal with MRF. And if he tries to deal with MRF, then he needs to pay the ward, so he has like 2 mana to play with. And if we counter it, we get a 2 mana time walk again. The only issue is that we don't have any more counter spells, and this is something that we need to like rectify. I can get rid of Bloodchief first so we can cycle it with the dragon, but I cannot cycle those. They are just too powerful. Oh, so cute. So the enemy is trying to bait something. Oh. Okay, so do we counter? Yeah, of course we counter. Why wouldn't we counter something? I think enemy tried to play this to see if we get, like, if counter is a thing. So mid hook pretty sucks. So I think he wants to play Goldspan Dragon, and it's 4/4. So I think we shouldn't play anything. Like, when you have MRF, it's not always correct decision to just smorg. I know, it hurts, but sometimes it's just better, because if he wants to deal with it, even if we have no counter spell, it will cost him full turn. And then we can discover the formula and like reload on more MRF or whatever, so, you know. So I think he has an instant removal, and he wants to play it on our turn. Sorry? Coughing a bit, sorry guys. So I think he wants to play on our turn, so he can play Goldspan without us reacting. But we'll play this. He will kill the dragon most likely, but it will tap him out completely, and we will have like new plays for the next turns. Yep, exactly. And look, suddenly he's tapped out completely. So even if he deals with MRF, it's so costly for him. Like, bro, that's not what I want. Oh my god, that's such a horrible draw. 3/5. This provides mana, yeah. This is such a horrible draw. Oh man. And we won't draw land with this. So we want to kill this. Oh man. Like, I hate my life right now. And even the lands are untapped. Okay, divide by 0 is very good. I don't want Mid-Hook Massacre. To be honest, Blood Tree First isn't great, but it's at least removal. And I think well, we have a lot of draw. Let's go like this. This is good because it's cheaper than the other draw, and sometimes we cannot fit big draw. Sorry, I'm lost for words. And like, to be honest, I might play Discover the Formula if they go for Goldspan. Sure, bro. You don't know how happy I am that you played this. So right now we can Juari his Goldspan. So that was anti-bad player play by the enemy. He hoped that we might counter it, which is like very stupid idea. And thanks to this, he just got damaged by Juari counter. Like, of course he didn't play it, but right now, if he's smart, he knows that we might have it. And like, oh, but I think he might scoop after this. Okay, so how much do we hate it? I do hate it, but we can divide by 0, and it's perfect, like 2 mana. Sure? Enjoy your new dragon, my friend. We can also get Mid-Hook Massacre, and this can only go to 4/4. So we would need 5 mana to answer it, and yeah, it's also a possibility. Like, there's no great turn to play Discover the Formula. It always hurts to play it first time, and even the second time, but after you play it, suddenly your game starts to really speed up. So yeah, it's not the worst that could happen. It doesn't have haste, we can bounce it. We can double bounce it and counter it. Oh man, and suddenly we have everything. Okay, so let's go away. Please go away. We cannot kill it because he just sacrifices another creature, and it grows also. Man, just go with it. You have nothing. Alright, so I like land, to be honest. Confront the past. Not really anything we can get. Teachings. No. Mascot exhibition. This is something that could be a bit useful, but honestly, I just want more lands. And we will play this just to make sure that the enemy isn't like too high in the tempo. He cannot play both in the same turn, especially with double Juari. With double Juari, like, mana doesn't matter. It's more than like the tempo. It's possibly way to counter additional spell with it. So 4 and 5. I think he can play both. So I hope if we counter it, we counter the second one as well with Juari. Yep. Oh no, he still lacks the mana. My bad. But like, we will still counter it, so that's exactly the same play. And we will Memory Deluge. So we can see that we slowly grind the enemy out of options. Like, he's been playing this Goldspan Dragon for like, I don't know, last 4 turns. And it never did anything. It didn't produce single treasure. One of the reasons it's so nerfed right now. But also, like, it's just expensive dragon. Like, it's 5 mana to do nothing if it gets answered. So, you know, this Fading Hope that we were using at the early game. Okay, in a second we'll talk about it. I don't think I need more Juaris, thanks. I think that was the fading Hogate. Like this made such an amazing difference. We look how good tempo we have right now. We are super ahead on the enemy. The only issue is that we don't have counters. So it's 4 mana and then he can play it again. And I think that's the plan. And I think that's a good plan. So what we will do is bounce the Predator, and then he will try to replay it, and depending if he draws land, then we need double Jewelry, and if he doesn't, we just use 1 Jewelry. And we still have Memory Deluge in the graveyard, so we are fine with the cards, and we have Draco Lich that will provide some value. This is one of the reasons the card is in the deck, is just recurring value as a good filler to pressure the enemy and just, you know, do stuff. Okay. I think that's good. No, maybe not great, but still okay, because he has less mana now. So one spell a turn. So, what would you say if I said that we were divided by 0? We don't get to learn, but it's still super worth it. Especially with Memory Deluge, that we still have mana to play. Look at this Kalane, like, doing his best. He's such sweet little painter. We could also play Ebon Death. Which, no, we need more answers. And it's more mana efficient this way. Enemy has something. Okay, we have land, so I think we need those things. We have enough Jewelry. And they only work if the enemy double spells. So, what do we do? Enemy will play, if he plays Predator, you probably can answer it somehow. Goldspan is a bit worse. Like, we don't have very good answers right now. So maybe enemy hits us once. Negate. Negate will hit something sooner or later. But I want to do it after the discard phase. Like, if we draw something, it has to be after. It's also legendary, so we don't need both. And one is generally all you need, just coming back. Okay, and now we can use discover the formula because we don't overdraw, and we can now find the play. Earlier we just couldn't really. Okay, I would really like to play the Ebon Death this turn. And you know what? I think we let enemy have it. Because we can easily kill it next turn, so all he gets is 2 mana and 4 damage. Enjoy. You worked really hard to get him. Yeah. If he plays the Predator, that's even better. Oh no, but we don't have mana. But that might change our plan, and possibly I double Jewelry then. So like, those Jewelries aren't amazing right now, but you know, they do stuff. I think enemy is playing around them. He had so many good turns when he could just completely tap out, so I think he knows about Jewelry. Okay, enjoy your treasure. I don't love fact that we are at 9. This is something that we need to keep our eye on. And also, just by the way, there is an argument to be made that maybe this should be basic lands, just because of the Tyrant. So 3 mana. I will go with Negate. Because this is a dragon draw for him, so let's limit his options a bit. And it's very mana efficient. Like I would just want to get rid of some cards, and 1 for 1 is pretty good exchange ratio, and we have 8 cards and the enemy has 3. And he has strong dragons in the deck. Okay, and it's our turn, finally. So and this gets discounted, so it's always better than the other one. So that's why we generally need 1 Draco Lich in the game. Preferably like discounted to 2 mana, and suddenly you have a 5/2 flyer with flash for 2 mana. Yeah, like if you want you can kill him. Then we Blood Chief first and we can replay him if we want. So Infernal Grasp most likely. Then it's 2 mana, but he needs to sacrifice the treasure to play it. Oh, Dragonfire, sure. It doesn't get exiled, so I won't say we really care too much. And this gets discounted once. All of them are. So, Gorge's Pendragon. And I think we do replay it. We have Divide by 0. And we have a lot of stuff. I think we didn't play land this turn, but I'm not sure enough to play this, and also every mana counts. Like we can use 4 mana, so probably I wouldn't do it anyway. So 4 mana. And then he can replay it. That's a very interesting situation. He played a land. So now we can bounce it, but the enemy will know that there was no reason to bounce it main phase, unless we have Juari. I'm not sure the enemy knows how this works. My friend, always. Like look how hard he's trying to get rid of this Draco Lich, and it will like rise again, like we can summon it every single turn forever. Enjoy your 1 damage. This has been actually the most damaging card in his deck so far. Believe it or not. And suddenly a wild predator appears. Like, I could use Blood Chief first. Yeah, I think it's fine. Enjoy. Because that's his last card. Like, we just draw, kill him, then it's indestructible, then we bounce it probably and counter it, and that's it. We need more islands, that's for sure. Oh man. Oh man. If we do it, he will like do the thing. But it's more mana efficient. And it's exactly the same effect as we targeted the Predator, so no reason to overpay 2 mana. And it also allows him to make a mistake, so exactly. Oh, hi. Sure, my friend. So, maybe he targets... What did he target? I think it's this. Oh, no, the other one. That's smart, because that's not the one we want to play. My friend, you got it. Like, we aren't in a haste, he's out of the gas completely, and we can answer the last threat he has. So... let's do it like this. Because the creature died, so we can resummon those. It's indestructible. Okay, so if he goes to the main phase, then I will use Fading Hope. Like, we can even get rid of it with Blood Chief first. Okay, and he showed his last hand, which was, I would say, quite a mistake. Okay. So we cannot kill this, so not really anything we can do. Okay, and maybe we want him to tap. Oh, nice. So he's going all in, which is a very smart strategy by him. Okay, let's think. So we'll add this. And we don't have anything important in the graveyard, I think. Yeah, so 3 damage is better than more damage. First of all, let's divide by 0. Okay, and what do we do? Mascot exhibition seems fine, I think. It's like the most power on the board. And now we want to make sure that we get rid of this, so we don't get the tokens. Mid-hook Massacre. It's super hard for it to really hit something. It's a healing, but not reliable. We need to answer the creature lands. So like Imref it even would be very good. I should make a stop. Now the enemy sees that we have no instant spells, but we'll still bluff, so he isn't sure. He might think that we just skip the phase very quickly or something. Good choice. Won't matter, but good choice. Yep, 3 damage. That's very good for the enemy. Now we can skip because he has no mana. Check for traps. 1 mana to get rid of the predator. Sorry guys. So let's think, what do we do? I think we get rid of the stuff and play this. We need some power on the board just to keep blocking the lands, and that's only 1 land. Yeah, it's tapped, so he cannot attack with it. I think check for traps is still worth it. Oh man, that's a hard decision, so let's think. Enemy will attack, we need to double block. He plays the land and plays the predator. We can counter it, but it's just better to pay 1 life to get rid of it. And it's also exiled, so even better. Okay, and I think we play Science just to gain some life. And a land, which helps. And we can double Jewelry. So he has only 1 creature land, correct? Yes. So we need 2 creatures to block it. We have this, so we can just go all in. And also I think we can kill him next turn. 9-14, yep. So he needs some blockers, because he cannot kill us, and we can kill him. Okay, interesting though. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top when this... Okay, we didn't lose any life this turn. Okay, that's a strong one. If he attacks. So, how much? Like, we could make sure that he cannot activate it. 2, 3, 4. Then he can pay 2. I think that's best we can do. Oh man, like those alarms are sucky. Forgot to turn them on before this stuff. Just give me a second and I get rid of the problem. Alright, so... So now he cannot activate it. And I think that's our closure, guys. And now we attack and he has no blocks. Yep. Oh wow, that was a very good game, I would say. I really like it, and it was much closer than I thought. But you can see how much value we bring, and we didn't go for full value. We usually skip the value in spite of the tempo. with all the bouncing and so on. Like Into the Rail was without draw a card, and like we played everything just to keep up with the enemy. So it's not like we couldn't outvalue it harder, but you can see the tempo was still very close. Yeah, and Double Jewari actually won this game because it disabled his creature for the final turn, and that was 14 damage. He had 13. This comes up. This cannot be activated thanks to Jewari, and this gets removed. And voila. Alright, so we have pretty good hand here, and we will start with the dual land. Nearly dual land. Okay, and check for traps is quite good here, and I think that's our play here. So let's see what the enemy is cooking. Check for trap. Oh, enemy has a lot. So I think either this. Do we have removal? We don't really have a good removal. So Stinger is amazing together with the Witch, so he gets value from all of this. And whenever a permanent an opponent controls, puts into graveyard, put counter, exile permanent. I think we can deal with it somehow, so let's get rid of Stinger. Deadly Dispute is also a thing, but it removes his board, so it's a bit better for us. It gives us more time. And we do have Divide by Zero, and I think we really want to learn. Yep, enemy is smartly attacking us first, seeing if he can bait some play. And he won't, so we are okay with it. At this point I think it's quite obvious. Oh yes, that we have counterspell. Oh yes. So, sacrifice again, my friend. Okay, and now the question, I think it can be teachings. He will draw cards. No, he won't, because yeah, like it's bounced and he cannot play it again. So he gets one draft, 6, 7 withdraw, 2 our 4. So he plays land, some play, and it is possible we draw. Oh man. I think I chickened out. So Archaics could be very good, but I just wanted to make sure that we hit the 5th land. Otherwise it would be extremely bad for us. We don't really have place. Maybe Archaics was correct choice. And don't get like twisted. The enemy would play differently if we went for Archaics, and we will have 6 cards. If we didn't hit lands, it would be, and we didn't. So suddenly it's not as easy. Okay, so let's go for the smart choice, and we can still play first. What hurts this game is that we didn't get like Absorb Energy, the counter spell, because then we would counter any creature they play, and for this reason our dragons would be cheaper, and that's like one of the ideas behind the deck, and it really helps because they are quite expensive on their own. So let's draw, and hopefully we can start doing stuff. Okay, so 2 cards I guess. I would think Memory. We need the land, so that's something that stays. And I actually think this, like Mid-Hook is amazingly important, just for the healing even. Great, thank you. Thank you for that. But still we need as many as we can. Alright, so we can prepare for the Mid-Hook Massacre, or just go with Imrev. And they cannot really answer it easily. Still, I think we are at 19 live, so we are not in any haste, and this will speed up everything we do. We can play the Draco, but we will have plenty of occasions, and we really want to discover the formula. Oh, okay. But I think we are in a good place. Like, after we discover the formula, we should be in a very strong spot. However, this turn is like a lackluster a bit. Torment. Oh man. That's quite strong. I won't lie. But we have to deal with it, at least for now. We can bounce it in multiple ways later. And we will have both life and cards. Okay. Not sure why he didn't attack. He wants to learn anyway. Yep. Oh man. I think we lose 3 life. And I'm so extremely tempted to play Discover the Formula. It might be a bit too greedy though. So let's not push our luck too much and go with the Imref. What sucks a bit is that this wasn't discounted before it went to the graveyard, so every time we cast it, we need to pay the full price. If we had discovered the formula while we do it, then every single recast would be cheaper. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so do we want to bounce it? If he makes a token, that's good for us, and we just mid hook, I think. Divide by 0 can be very good on Torment. But at the same time, I think we prefer to discard cards. And now we go for the Archaics, because we will be discarding cards possibly every turn for some time. So we need a lot of them. We could also go for Mascot Exhibition, but enemy can mid hook it, so it's not very good. At this point we can go into the value game. Oh, and I forgot we have fish. I think the raccoon is better, but it does something. And it's actually quite cool. Maybe it's even better than the raccoon, I don't know. Pretty cool. Eaten alive. So first, let the ward resolve. Okay, and this is the fun part of playing Imref in this deck. Fading Hope is the same as hard counter spell. You will see in a second. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature. Exile. No, I don't think I will. And the best part, it is still discounted. All the time. Resolve. I think we should discard one MRF. It's a bit ballsy, to be honest, but I still think it's a correct play. And I do want to play Teachings when we can, because in some time, and let's make sure that the enemy thinks that we have Fading Hope. Okay, so he has no mana, so we don't need a end step. So we want to make a stop here. This way, they might think about it twice if they want to kill the Imref. I don't think they can.
Violence is necessary.
Because like the last spell they used was horrible, and they seemed forced to use it. So we also want stop at the second main phase. Okay. And I think this is 3 damage to us. No. Lose 3 life. It sucks. It does suck. But we have discovered the formula. So we are quite fine with it. First of all. And now the question. I think this is a very good idea. And I honestly think that the enemy doesn't have too many choices. So we are like in a full long game right now. And I think I will discard a land. Like we really want lands. But at the same time I don't want to go below 13 HP too much. Okay, so how much? Phew. So it kills one of the dragons and helps him drain us. Like, the drain is a big thing, but we have our own hook, so I think it's fine. I don't like it, but it's acceptable, I would say. But that isn't, my friend. Okay, and discover the formula is even cheaper. And we can discard land that we prepared for this very occasion. And the enemy doesn't have very much HP. We can kill him with Horror of the Giants in 2 turns, which might be a good idea, but I think we can play it slow. We cannot draw more if we play land, so let's just get on with our one simple card. And I will play land just because we have so much card draw and full mana available. So I really think at this point it should be fine. So Torment is irritating and it's hard, but we can keep up with it even from our advantage over the enemy. So we not only have more draw, we have so much draw that we can discard every turn and still have more draw. And mana is always limiting factor for us. Like, if we had 15 mana, we could use it all and still be mana starved because of Memory Deluge. So it's 11 mana. This can be anywhere mana, like we are so mana starved every single turn forever. And I think the enemy sees the writing on the wall, and I think we are closing on him. This was very good removal from this kind of deck, so I think that could be his main strategy. So this, I still think he expected this to work, but we only had 1 mana open. But you can clearly see how very amazingly synergistic those dragons are with the Fading Hope, because the biggest issue with saving your creature with Fading Hope is that you are super behind on tempo. Like, imagine 6 mana just to have nothing. That's not a good play. However, this gets discounted by or the discover the formulas, and enemy has to pay forward just to target it. So suddenly enemy had to spend at least 5 mana to play anything, and we can bounce it at 1 mana and replay at 5. So pretty much we are even. And we trade Fading Hope like a hard counterspell. You can see I countered Mortality Spear, and exactly the same effect was bouncing my dragon. And he got discounted once, but in some games, like right now, we could just play Discover the formula, and second emerald would be 3 mana. So suddenly we are mana positive after saving it with Fading Hope. The enemy seems super salty, not really sure why. But yeah, that's how the deck plays out, and it wasn't a very good draw for us. Like, we hit 3 dragons and not enough bounce counter spell. Optimally, what you want to get is Absorb Energy, so you can counter 3 or 4 drop, and that's your main plan. And after you counter it, then you can follow it up exactly the next turn with Imrev for 4 mana, and that's actually very strong. If you started the game, so you counter a 2 mana creature from the enemy or 3 mana creature from the enemy, then enemy has 3 lands. Then you go into 4, play Imrev, and the enemy has 4 mana together. Even if they have 1 mana harsh removal, that's very unheard of. They still cannot play it just for the ward cost. So suddenly your Imrev is unkillable this turn, completely hexproof, and that's the big thing that can happen. So it's not like a combo deck, of course, but there's some very good curves that you sometimes will play, and it will be very strong. Okay, so what I think about this hand, it's dicey, but we have mana and mid-hook and some interactions, so as long as it's creature deck, I think we are okay. I'm starting to really like this head, which is unheard of. Okay, we have Imrev, that's very good. And the enemy is playing some kind of mono green, I guess. It seems like mono green. So wolf, wolf. Yeah. Okay, so I think this is something we want to kill, especially that we will have three. Oh, but I still think we need. But this divide by zero can give us land next turn. However, it's pretty horrible to bounce this. No, I think it's just too mana efficient. Mana efficient. I kinda hate this play. I actually do. Maybe I should use this at the end step. I think we are in for the tempo. So let's do it like this. Because, yep, I expected we might have some troubles. So, do we main phase this? Just to hit land? I think we have to, because mid hooks are like the main thing that we have to do. We could also bounce something, but then we are like... Maybe we hit 2 lands. Okay, I should be more specific. Okay, so one Imiref is down the drain. And like, man, it's such a hard discard. I really want both Massacres. They aren't perfect because we need a lot of mana to kill anything with it. I don't, like, I want next land, I really do. Imiref can be good here. Like, it's a big wall. I think we might... Holy moly. I really have no idea which to discard. All of them are amazingly useful. So what the next turn plays? 4 mana, we cannot mid hook. I think we should mid hook, because it's quite obvious that we have the second one, because nobody sane would discard the only mid hook Massacre in this matchup. But every other card answers some stuff. Okay. And we top the correct land. And just like this. Okay, let's use our brain. It tends to happen sometimes. So this will make 3/3. It's attacking creature, so he cannot bump this one if he levels up the class. So what we can do is next turn sweep for 3, even with Imiref. And Imiref won't get killed. They don't have Snowlands, so no Frostbite or anything. Deals combat, exile, my cast, okay, whatever. And we want to play something main phase overall. I think we have high enough HP that we can go with it. It's super risky. If the enemy somehow removes it, like with a fight spell, that would suck. But he needs big creature and also a fight spell. And if he plays it out like this is exactly perfect, and this should win the game. So I think we want no reach here, so let's just swing for more damage before we sweep the board. Maybe... no, we would draw one card anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, they don't have direct removal generally, like not too much. So we are super fine. And now we mid hook for 3. I don't think there's any way they can make it bigger. So let's try to be a pro player, you know? Because then, yep, then they explode. Oh, that seemed completely devastating to the enemy, but it was actually much closer than it might look. Because if they somehow dealt 3 damage to this, they had Rahilda, so they would attack, start drawing our cards, so that's not great. But also if they played something that's, for example, 5/5 somehow, then we would be in big trouble. Yeah, I was quite scared to play Imrith, but the ward really helps. Like, it's super hard to kill him. Good. Another game under our belt.